Way to go, Tiana. All right. So, I asked you to do domain. Have I been doing my domain in red or blue on here? Red. Domain is red? All right, so domain. In this first one, the domain is where? X or Y axis? X. So it goes from there. I don't like that. I want a thicker red pen. There to there. Are they both included? Yes. How do you know that, Jovan? Colored in dots. So it is -1 less than or equal to X less than or equal to 3. And then you write it the other way because you can. Square bracket -1, 3 square bracket. Yeah?
Genius.
Yeah. One sec. What? The range. Where do we look for range? On the y-axis. I go to the bottom. And then I go up to there. Which is 2 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 6. 2, 6. And is it a function? Yes. Now, some people in the other class are still having issues with why it's 2 to 6 for the range when the points on the graph are -1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 3, 6. Notice, please, that the x's go from -1 to 3, -1 to 3. The y's go from 2 to 6, 2 to 6. That some kids were still having problems with it, so I showed them this instead. Notice that right here it starts. Everywhere that line has a y value is part of the range. So because it has a y value for all that, we count all that. I don't know if any of you needed that, but I'm showing it now to avoid the problem in the future. Next, what is my domain? I look on the x-axis at the lowest possible value. Where is it? -4. And I go along. X, 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 X. I'm good. X, 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 X. And then some of the kids in the other class stopped there. But do you? No, because what happens right away here? It starts again. And you can see that the x values go from -4 up to and including +2, which we rewrite as -4, 2 with square brackets. Because I go from -4 up to 2. Yes. There is no union because there's no break. It is a solid line. When there's a union, it's because there's a break. Okay? Because when there's a break, there's 2 different sets. Yeah? Okay. Yes, it's wrong because it's not a union. Its range is all of this. Its domain, or its domain is all this. Its range goes from here up to here, and then it starts again, so it's a solid line from -3 to 4. All these are going to be worth 2. Now, if you have all these numbers but you used a union, you're pretty darn close. Take off a half a mark. This one. This is the first of the tricky ones. Domain starts there. -2. Does it hit -2? Yep, so it gets the equals. X, but then what? It goes on because of that arrow. For how long? Ever. So I don't hit infinity. So it can't equal it. So I could also write it this way, -2, infinity, round bracket. Or I could write it the simplest way possible. Oh yeah, -1, sorry. -1, -1. Or I could write it the easiest way possible. X is greater than or equal to -1. Then I only need to write one thing. That's the simplest way to write it. Does everybody understand why all three of these are the same thing? Is there anybody that doesn't? Sweet. And then the range. Now, a lot of kids in the other class started their range here because they saw the line started here. Do I care about the x value? Do I care about this point? Or do I only care about the y values? Y values. So my range really goes up to here. And all the way down to here, where I told you yesterday that that went flat. So what is that? That is -3. 5. -3, 5. Is everybody good with the first three easy ones? Okay. What's the first thing different about 4? It had an open dot on oh, crap! Crap, I forgot to do two things. Is this a function? Number 2. No. 2 is a relation. Why? Because right there it hits the line twice. Is 3 a function? Yes. Okay. Sorry. This guy, he's got an open dot on the domain or range, or both. He waited patiently. Open dot on the domain, So right there is where it starts, but it's open. And then it goes up to where? There, and stops. That one's closed. What is this value? -2. Do I actually hit -2? No. So no equal sign. X. Then up to 4. Do I actually hit 4? Yes. So equal sign. And then and the other way to write it is round bracket -2, 4 square. Jovan. The whole thing is worth 2 marks. Right? Not each. So right now you've got 8 marks available to you. Use your own judgment. I would say the function part is worth a half mark. Then everything else would be 1.5. Just use your judgment. And the range is tricky here. What is it? Is there a range? Are there any y values? What are they? -4. Is there any other y value? No. So the range is y equals 4. Done. Because it can't be anything else. Oh yeah, -4. And is it a function? Yeah, sure, you betcha. Number 5. Where does it start? Right there. Does it actually hit that? Yep, and it goes up this way for how long? Infinity. So x must be greater than or equal to what? -1. Or the other 2 ways we could write it. But we're always looking for the simplest way to write it. Yes? This is also -1 up to infinity, and it's also square bracket -1, comma, infinity round bracket. But I want you guys to start writing the simplest one. And the range from there up to there where it goes flat. What is that? Negative 3, y, positive 3. Negative 3, 3. Is it a function? Yes. Here. Domain. Boom. Oh, didn't go red. Boom. Boom. Negative 3, x, 0. Negative 3, 0. Range. Boom. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 2, y, 3. Function? Yes. Now, you've seen the easy ones. Have a look at your next page and make sure you are happy with your answers before we go to marking them. I'll give you a couple of moments to be sure. It's okay. We'll do it now. Everything I just said. There's the right answers. There's the right answers. All right, 152, please. The first half of 152, you do not need any help with. You can already do it. This whole section, there is only one bit of math that is only about this new. Most of you will have seen it already. You guys try to answer these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Now, please go. Tell me what they think the independent variable is. Or, of course, if you'd rather start with the dependent variable, that's fine too. Last. Yes, the independent variable is the time. Why? Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Is time passing for us right now? Independent of whether or not we are scuba diving, yes? Okay. Was time passing for the people on the boat? Yes. Independent of whether or not they were under the water. Agreed? All right. Excellent. Good job. How many minutes did the dive last? Adrian. 30 minutes. At what times did the diver stop her descent? How many of you thought the diver was a man automatically? You all did. No. Okay. What times did she stop? When? Descent? Downwards. She stopped when? At 14 minutes? Right here? This is 14. She stopped there? No. I'm going to change to a better color that's easier to see on the gray. Where did she stop? At 10 minutes. She stopped at 4 minutes. Till when? 8 minutes. Why? Why is it 4 to 8? Apparently, Kermit the Frog is over here. Why is it 4 to 8? Right. 4 to 8 because time went on, but her depth did not change. When's the next time it happened? 10 to 14. Same thing. Time went on, depth didn't change. Everybody cool? Oh. What was her greatest depth? 20 meters. Now, here is where we run into problems with graphs. She is diving off the boat and swimming in what direction? down into the ocean. Where's the graph going? Up. Is a graph supposed to be a drawing of what is happening? No. It represents data. Her depth increased, so we draw it upwards. Everybody good? All right. How long did she spend at that depth? 4 minutes. Wonderful. And finally, here's where you're going to make your first mistake, I think. That's okay. What's the domain and the range?
I did it.
0 less than or equal to 30 less than or equal to, what's going there?
X. Wait,
Time. You should put time. What's the range? 0 depth to what? 20. No. What's each square worth? Check your scale. All right, everybody cool? All right, now we're going to talk about the one thing that's kind of new. Describe to me what is happening in this section of the graph. She is diving. She's descending. So her depth is increasing as what? Her time carries onwards, yes? Everyone agree? All right. Her depth is a distance, yes? And that distance is being compared to what? A time. Do we use this construction all the time? Yes. Where in your lives do you guys see a distance compared to a time? Kilometers per hour. It's a rate. Everybody understand? This is what we call a rate. Now, according to this, I went 12 meters in 4 minutes. Is that how we like to read rates? Do I say I drive my car at 150 kilometers per 3 hours? What do I say? 50 kilometers per 1 hour. So this should really be 12 over 4, but it should really be over 1, shouldn't it? So what did I do to 4 to get it to 1? Divided by 4. So what do I do to 12? Divide by 4 to get what? 3. So what is her speed of descent? 3 meters per minute. Does everybody understand? Now, is this descent, which I'm going to color pink, faster or slower? Without doing any math, you should be able to tell me. Or is it the same? You say it's faster? Okay. How far did I go? 12, 2, 4, 6, 8 meters, yes? In how many minutes? 2. So this part was 8 over 2, which is really 4 over 1. So she was going 4 meters per minute. And you will notice that the line is steeper. Why? Because I'm covering more distance in less time. Does everybody get it? All right. Now, you tell me what her speed of ascent was. How fast did she come back to the surface? Which I will do in yellow. What's this part? Yeah? What's this part? She's going from the bottom of her dive back up to the boat. How far did she travel? 20. In how much time? 16 minutes, yes? So, what have I got? I got 20 over 16. What do I need? I need to be over 1. What do I do to 16 to get to 1? Divide by 16. So what do I do to 20? Which is what? 1.25. So what was her speed of ascent? 1.25 meters per minute. And you can see it is a lot less steep. Does everybody understand? The steeper it is, the faster the change is occurring. It's not necessarily a speed. All right? Everybody cool? Now, tell me what would happen to that red line if, I'm going to erase the red line, if right there she saw a shark. She would go up very fast, yes? Could she go up that fast? Why not? Time can't stop. A straight up and down line would say she got through 12 meters in 0 seconds. She teleported back to the surface. Does that happen? No. It would have to be like this. Everybody understand? All right. Now, you guys, and this is going to be the last thing you do today for me, take a moment, talk with your neighbor, write me a story that explains this graph. You do not need to actually worry about English, okay? You don't need conflict. You don't need self versus self, person versus self, person versus person, person versus environment. You don't need rising action. You don't need a climax. You don't need a denouement. Just tell me what happened. Go. I am going to write what this graph is really about, because this really happened.
Is this stuff like rise over run?
It will be. Yep. Have you written your story? Two more minutes to write your story. Dude, just what happened? Okay? Just what is happening to the water in the watering can? I feel your story had some conflict and stuff. Mine does. Ready? It was 1 minute. For those of you that are done,
Same thing. I mean, mine took 10 seconds for the water to come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I dumped the water at full speed out of the watering can.
9,
She started to run away. I was still dumping the water.
You just standing there like this?
Yep.
You were like, I might be a little thirsty from that little mission here.
No.
So I was like,
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm showing you this way is for two reasons. One, you need to be able to get data from a graph. Two, it allows me to describe marking, because this is important. Does this definition explain the graph? It does, doesn't it? So this would get a 1. It minimally meets my expectations. Okay? I want it to approach my expectations. Okay, well, what more information could I put here? What is the difference in what's happening there compared to there? Pardon me? Right. So to get to a 2, I could say, I fill it slowly. And to get a 3, and what happens when I dump it? And I dumped it quickly. That would get me to a 2 on the 4-point scale that you are used to from elementary school. Minimally meets expectations, approaching expectations, meets expectations, exceeds expectations. How will you meet my expectations? What is everything you could tell me about this? You could tell me, you can't get that from the graph. But you can get how long it took, can't you? How much did I fill it? 0.75 of a liter in how long? 30 seconds. And I dumped it at 1.75 liters in how long? 20 seconds. Everybody with me? That would get you a 3. How could I get the 4 and exceed expectations? Are those actual rates? No. What would be a better rate? I would use liters per minute. Why? 30 seconds. How do I get 30 seconds to 1 minute? 0.5 times 2. It's 30 seconds, half a minute. So what do I got to do to that? Times 2. 1.5 liters per minute fill. And what's my drain? What did I have to do to 20 to get it to a minute? Times what? Times what? Yeah, times 3, so it's times 3, so it's 5.25 liters per minute. That gets you the 4. Does everyone understand? This is where your marking is heading. It could happen before you graduate. So I am making you aware of it. All right? Now, what's wrong with this system is, of course, can you get 0? No. The scale starts at 1. So technically, if you left it blank, I still have to give you 1, which is what is wrong with this system, which is what is wrong with the way we mark kids in elementary school. No. That doesn't exist. The scale goes from 1 to 4. I know that, but I don't make those decisions. Everybody cool? Now listen to me. The day is done enough. I'm going to give you the last 10 minutes off. For 2 reasons. Stop. 1, you are to attempt page 153. I can't remember. Hold up. I got to check what I asked Block D to do. Just 153. Do 153 in pencil, because you're gonna screw it up. I don't mean to be mean, but you're gonna. Do it in pencil. When should this be done? Could you start it now?
yeah,
You could. If you don't get it done today, when will you get it done? Tomorrow after your test. What if you take the whole 80 minutes for your cumulative? When would this be done? For Monday. Everybody with me? Now, listen. Because you have a cumulative tomorrow, I have left you with 10 minutes in class, with which you could, A, do the assignment I have given you, so you have no homework over the weekend. B, you could ask me any questions you want about roots, exponents, multiplying polys, factoring, because that is what your cumulative is on tomorrow. Third option, sit and talk to your friends and do no math, which is what you're all going to choose anyway, but I would like to offer you the first two as available to you. If you wish to look over your tests from those units, you have 10 minutes to do so. I will fish them out of the filing cabinet. No, now, to prepare for tomorrow. Nobody wants to ask? Yes, I know that, Amrit. Does anybody want to ask about anything here, or do you just want to look at your tests? Okay. Polynomials. Polynomial. He's such a tool, that Paul Edward Nomial. Polynomial. Nah. 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 Huh? It's not supposed to be. I hate Family Guy. I didn't. I've been doing that laugh since before Family Guy was on TV. So actually, Family Guy is doing a Mr. Myers laugh.
Oh, and I looked it up. You know that guy from Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
Huh?
Huh?
That guy from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I looked
According
it
to whom?
himself.
Oh, really? People. Oh.
Why would you care if people know you died?
Have you? Are you aware of the North American beauty industry?
Yes.
Hair dye exists. That's reason enough. People who do things like dye their hair are looked upon as being inferior. It's North America. How do you not know that?